Good evening, everyone. This is the Audit Committee's first meeting of the fiscal year 2024-2025, September 3rd, and the time is now 6:05. Just want to say welcome to our first of many, many meetings as we work together to try to make sure that we oversee Prince George's County and its financial responsibilities. So now I'll call the meeting to order at 6:05. I would like to call, excuse me, I would like to call this meeting to order. Sorry, I got confused. For the internal audit work plan. Tonight, this committee will listen to the internal audit work plan for SY 2024-2025. As we get started, I would like Ms. Barton, please call the roll.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mrs. Boozer-Struther,
Present.
Mr. Jonathan Briggs, Mrs. Madeline Frazier,
Present.
Mr. Lolita E. Walker, Mr. Brandon Jackson. We have one.
And just a point of information, Chair Walker needs to be moved over into a panelist if possible.
Hi, I'm present. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 1.3. It sounds like we have quorum. So I want to take this time for the introductions of the audit committee members and everybody that's on the call tonight. Just give a brief introduction of who you are and in what capacity you serve, starting with the PGCPS board.
All right, I'll go first. This is Pamela Boozer-Struther, District 3 Board of Education member, and I serve as the Vice Chair of the Audit Committee.
Hello, everybody. I am Madeline LaSalle Frazier. I am school board representative of District 8, and I am a member of the Audit Committee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Jackson. I am board member District 6 and the chair of the Audit Committee.
Hey there, I am Lolita E. Walker. I am an ex officio member of this committee, and I'm the chair of the Board of Education.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mia Barton, and I'm the administrative secretary in the board office.
Hello, everyone. I am Janice Walter Semple. I'm the acting internal audit director.
Hello, I'm Rebel D. Fitzpatrick, he, him, his, and I'm the director for the board.
Thank you. Moving on to section 1.4. Since this is the first meeting of the year, I thought it was fitting to go over the mission of the audit committee. So 1.4 has a brief mission statement about the audit committee, which is the primary purpose of Prince George's County Board of Education Audit Committee is to provide oversight of the financial reporting process, the audit process, the PGCPS system of internal controls and compliance with laws and regulations. Moving on to 1.5, the adoption of the September 3rd, 2024 agenda. So may I have a motion to adopt the September 3rd, 2024 Board Audit Committee meeting agenda?
Chair Jackson, I make a motion to adopt the September 3rd, 2024 Board Audit Committee meeting agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I apologize. I second.
Thanks, Patty. So it has been moved and properly second to adopt the September 3rd, 2024 Board Audit Committee meeting agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes with 3 votes. The agenda is adopted. So tonight, we do not have any public comment. Anyone registered for public comment? Moving on to 3.1 and 3.2. So tonight, we're going to have an overview of internal audit and the SY 2023-2024 audits. So at this time, I would like to recognize Ms. Janice Walter Simple, the interim internal audit director, to give us the internal audit work plan for SY 2024-2025.
All right. Thank you, Chair Jackson. I'll first start with, I guess, a summary of what we, as an internal audit department, accomplished for FY 24, and that's in accordance with our charter. Next slide, please. Okay, starting with our fourth quarter, I guess there's a typo in it. The fourth quarter for FY 24. For the fourth quarter, we've issued 16 reports, including 2 operationals, 6 investigations, and 8 school activity fund audits. The investigations were mostly substantiated or partially substantiated rather, with 2 Walker Mill Middle School fundraiser and Chapel Forge Academy. Those key determinations for those investigations were unsubstantiated. Next slide, please. The 2 fourth quarter operational audits were tool allotment reimbursement, where we had 1 finding where we found that there were no policies established over the reimbursement process for tool allotment. And we also found 2 ancillary issues that we wanted to bring to management's attention. One being inconsistent reimbursement for sales tax, and the other, the use of non-approved vendor. Next slide, please. The second operational audit, which was more or less a continuous audit, we evaluated payments for a vendor that's used by security services. And for this operational audit, we found 5 exceptions that we reported. The first one, where purchase orders were generated after the services were performed. The next, where there were 33 instances of delinquent payments. Open purchase orders from prior fiscal year. These were not unencumbered at the end of the audit, the fiscal year. Purchase orders created and invoiced without an updated contract, and extensive use of rider contracts. And in the first instance, we're still waiting for management's response. In the second instance, we've received responses from management regarding these identified issues. And a final report was issued. Next slide, please. Okay. All right. Well, I guess some of the slides The information is blank. Okay, can you advance, please? Audit accomplishments for FY 24. So for the audit accomplishments, we have 67 audits that were issued for the audit period. 559 hotlines were reviewed. Of the reports issued, the 67 reports issued, 28 were SAF, school activity fund audits, 25 were special investigations, and 14 were operational audits. Kindly advance.
And Chair Jackson, could I just interrupt for 1 second? I wanted to find out if it's possible, if a very short period of time, that a version of the deck could be posted that doesn't have that actually shows all the information. I don't know if the display is causing this problem, or if a document could be reposted. If Ms. Barton could let us know if she understands what's happening here.
This is the most recent version that Ms. Walter Semple sent over to me, and I just downloaded it and brought it up. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure because I'm looking at the one I sent you, and that's the one I was able to read from.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Yeah,
If you forward that email to me, I'll make sure that it's uploaded to Board Docs ASAP. I'll be working on the back end on that if you all want to continue.
yeah, because the version I have shows all the images and data as well. I didn't know
Right.
when
And
it
it's
goes.
the same one I copied you on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chair Jackson, we're just trying to see if we could actually get a version of the deck that shows all the images. It's unclear why it's not working properly.
So I've shared it with Director Fitzpatrick.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe it'll work better in this mode because you can see everything on the side there.
This should be working now. You can see the additional things on there.
Yeah, it's now in a presentation mode, but if this is the only way that the images will show, I think this will be fine.
Okay, I'll just go over the summary of the accomplishments for fiscal year 2024. That being 67 reports issued, including 28 school activity fund audits, 25 special investigations, and 14 operational audits. Internal also received and processed 559 hotline reports, and a total of $5.6 million in assets were subject to audit. Kindly advance. Okay, so internal audit mostly completed the audit plan for FY 2024 with some exceptions where internal audit was not able to complete, or the audits were completed, but the reporting process was not. So for our continuous audits on the operational audit assessments, those were all completed. There was one audit for COVID-19 grants and unaudited grants that we attempted to do for the past 2 years, but because of the conflict with the external audits, internal audit was not able to get the availability of the grants management office in order to accomplish the audit of those funds. The itinerant teacher payroll follow-up audit was not accomplished also because a staff assigned to that engagement resigned, and we did not get the resource in order to have that audit completed. The bus lot follow-up practice audit is an audit from a prior fiscal year. It was not on the internal audit plan for 2024. It's an audit from 2023 that carried over, and we were able to complete that audit in FY 24. Zonar hardware diagnostics and vehicle inspection was not completed. Internal audit attempted to start that one at the beginning of fiscal year 25, but we had some hindrances due to management's getting ready with logistics for school reopening. The business continuity audit plan is another audit, and that we've just started, and we are approximately 20% complete. And the Discover is another IT audit that we were to complete, but we did not get to. And the reason our IT audits are lagging is because we have one IT auditor, and the IT audit resource were pulled to facilitate the implementation for the GASB 96. So we assisted the external audit team and finance with assessing the software to implement GASB 96. So that took a few months out of our, maybe about 2 months out of our time, and that impacted our deliverables. EJ Ward is another audit that came from prior year. And this audit, no, this one was from the current year. And the draft was issued, but we have not issued the final. We're still waiting for management's response in order to issue the final report. So I guess without those exceptions that I've stated, internal audit has mostly completed the audit plan for FY 2024. Next slide, please. So here we have a comparison of our cases, our hotline cases, that is, from 2024 to 2023. In 2023, we have received and processed 564 cases. This prior fiscal year, we had a little less with the major categories, those, I guess, 40 and above being bullying and harassment. We found we received 48 cases in that category. Then employee retaliation, we received a total of 57 cases. We received 68 in the area of parent and community relations, and we received a total of 60 cases for school and office management. Next slide, please. So here we have stated how we plan to allocate the resources in our office based on the audits. So our time, we anticipate that we spend 30% of our time on school activity fund audits, 30% of our times for operational audits, and 30% of our time for investigations and special requests. And then we have an other category where we have special requests and audit assistance. And here again is where we plan to assist the external auditors. Next. Okay, for our operational audits, we plan to conduct reviews and assessments. And then in this case, or these cases, we are going to perform data analytics where we conduct review using the school funds online software, and that's the accounting software that's used to process school activity funds. And we use that software, we do some high-level analytics to determine whether reconciliations were prepared timely and other situations of that sort. And we perform high-level analytics where we report back to management and let them know exactly where we have seen, anomalies or cases where management needs to focus on determining whether reporting is being conducted as they should. And then we also have continuous auditing in this category, and we plan to conduct continuous auditing of the I-expense process. We're going to review the telework process this year. We're also going to do a follow-up of, like we started last year, of the school activity fund action plan implementation. We're going to look at leave requests and approval. We've also planned to look at conflict of interest statements follow-up. This is an area that we've done before also. Next slide, please. Okay, for our general operational audits, we plan to review as required by the state of Maryland. We plan to review grade validity, and this audit, the fieldwork is complete and we're in a reporting phase right now to comply with the October 1 deadline. And we're going to attempt to do the grants, the COVID-19 and other unaudited grants that might not reach the risk category for the A122 or A123 audits. So we're going to try to capture those grants here. We plan to do some review on some payments regarding capital improvement programs. We are going to look at salary setting, the HR salary setting process, itinerant teacher payroll follow-up. This is the one that was brought forward from the prior year. And we plan to include rider contracts as part of our audit plan also. We're going to look at tuition reimbursements, treasury operations follow-up, special education follow-up, and then we're going to finalize the audits that we've drafted the reports for. We have finalized 2 of them. And so as of the end of the year, these were draft reports were issued for 2, and one of those is already finalized. The other is going to be finalized as soon as we get management's response. And then the HR certification, which was issued, this was issued, the draft and final was issued in the first quarter, and that's last month. Next slide, please. So we have some technology audits. EJ Award is the one that's being, we're waiting, the draft has been issued, and we're waiting to issue the final report for EJ Award, fuel management system. Then we have added second factor authentication implementation, the Discover, which came from the prior audit period, a business continuity plan follow-up that is currently being performed, the Zonar system has been suspended, and we have special education system, APEX, that we plan to, these are the 6 audits that we plan to conclude during FY25. And that brings us to the end of what we plan to do for this fiscal year. And internal audit welcomes your input so that we can enhance the plan and we can add value to Prince George's County Public Schools. Thank you.
You for that lovely presentation. So I want to pause and see, are there any questions from the audit committee? Alrighty. No questions. Well, I do want to at least make a
Chair
statement.
Jackson, I actually have my hand raised here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Over.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, recognize you,
thank you.
Vice Chair Boozer Struthers.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Walters Semple. Really appreciate these details and working with you as we launch the audit committee and have a more public facing of our work. As board members, we certainly are very aware of the immense amount of data and time that we spend reading the audits and discussing them with you in our executive session. And so I really appreciate the opportunity that you've been able to create public facing presentations so that we can demonstrate this work to the public this year. I have a clarifying, when you refer to the COVID-19 grants, are you talking ESSER, like ESSER 1, 2, 3, or do you mean other opportunities that outside of those federal government grants that were presented to us because of this time of crisis, that there were other grant making institutions for us? to take, to receive support?
I'm sorry. So I think what we want to do, first, we want to evaluate the grants that are there that are COVID related. We recognize that there are several grants that the board receives that do not meet the threshold. So those grants are usually excluded from the single audit. So what we want to do is to, because they may not reach the high risk, when the high risk, low risk determination is done, they might not be a major program. They might not meet the high risk threshold. So because we've recognized these factors, that these grants have always been flying under the radar. They do not normally have a chance of being audited. And maybe because of the dollar amount, but we just want to make sure that the controls and the compliance around those grants, even though they might not give rise to a major program or a high risk type A program to be selected for audit, that those grants are reviewed and we are ensuring that management is conducting, performing the appropriate controls and compliance with the federal requirements. So if they're ESSER, we would not know specifically which ones at this point, but we are going to evaluate the entire grants, the CFA, to see which ones have been below the threshold, and then we are going to identify those. And we would not be able to do 100%, but we'll sample from those and conduct our audit.
Okay, great. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the committee members? All right, I do have a comment just in regard to this whole process. I think that I know that this is the first opportunity that the audit committee has had an opportunity. Well, I feel like the board has had an opportunity to get in at ground zero as you guys are developing the audit plan for the year. I think the intent of this committee was to be more hands-on with internal audit, to be a part of not necessarily be a part of the sausage making process, so to speak, but more so understand what it is you guys do and help us to communicate the value of internal audit and also how you guys operate in layman's terms to the overall public. And then if there's areas, because we receive feedback from numerous stakeholders, from government officials to parents and constituents, different stakeholders, always asking us about our financials. And I think that us being able to hear from the public and also understand what you're doing, I think we can bridge that knowledge gap to kind of better articulate and illuminate what you guys have going on, as well as give you some insight on what we're hearing from our parents or stakeholders in our respective districts. So I think that this will be a great opportunity to, I would say, upgrade our communication and visibility as it comes to internal audit and a lot of the great work that we're doing to make sure that we get the greatest return on our nearly $3 billion enterprise. So I'm definitely thankful for the work that you and your team are doing, and we are here to support you in any way possible. So I just wanted to end in that section of the meeting with letting you know why we're here to support you for sure.
We appreciate it.
Cool beans. Moving over to 4.0 for follow-ups and next steps. The follow-up items there, I don't think there are any follow-up items at this particular moment. I know that we will have, some closed sessions to discuss the internal audit report amongst each other. And then we will figure out when we'll have the opportunity to present the full plan to the board as well as to the general public. 5.0 closing remarks. So yeah, again, I want to say thank you to everyone. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move to adjourn the September 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Audit Committee.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and second to adjourn the September 3rd, 2024 Board of Audit Committee's meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty, the time is now 6:42 p.m. and we are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Ms. Simple, have we
Yes,
stopped
ma'am.
recording?